Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Your girl needs a hairbrush. This was very impromptu, but if you're new here, my name is Sophia Chanchuli. I have a podcast called the Sophiology Podcast, and this is my YouTube where I yap, and it is an extension of said podcast. We talk about all types of things: God, spirituality, growth, relationships, sobriety, all types of things. And sorry if there's a lot of dust. I'm in a hotel room and it's, not gonna lie, a little scary in here. There's handprints on the window, so like something was going on. So love that. I have a lot that I want to talk about though. But so basically oh my gosh, I have another video I'm so excited to make. I was just about to bring it up, but I'm gonna wait until I record that when I go home. But I just found out that the wizard Liz got cheated on, and I'm not the type of person that cares necessarily about like people I don't know in real life, but she's been such an inspiration to me. If you don't know who she is a YouTuber, and she has just been through so much in her life, and her words are just so inspiring. I would encourage you to go watch one of her videos, but she's so inspiring, and she went through a lot, and watching her finally get engaged to who I feel like everybody thought was a wonderful man. I had questions. My intuition was like, I don't really like this guy, weird choice, but whatever. And he cheated on her while she's 4 months pregnant with his baby, and they're engaged. And this brings up a few thoughts for me, because this is not going to be about that. This is just, it made me there's a few things I want to touch on for us as women, and why it's important for us to wait until marriage to sleep with men. Why in this day and age, it's not that men and women are enemies, it's that we need to hold each other accountable and hold each other to a higher standard. And there's a lot of stuff that's gotta go. There's a lot of warring between men and women, and this is like, I feel like there is an attempt to break women, to break us, to break our trust, to break our love, to break our authority, to break our voice, to break the sacred union that God has for us. And this really rubbed me the wrong way, just because I was like, she is such a wonderful woman, and she's so gorgeous, she's so smart, she has hobbies, and she thinks she finds this wonderful man, and then he cheats on her while she's pregnant with his child and embarrasses her publicly, and then he makes this stupid video. He looks like an idiot. But I want to say that it really made me understand, like it made my brain flip to say, like, what was this? Maybe I've been celibate now about 2 years, and then in between that I've had a lot of periods of celibacy when I'm not in a relationship. Before I even knew Jesus, like before I was ever in, like, you know, my last long-term relationship, I'm not somebody, I don't want to sleep with people that I don't have a good relationship with. And I feel like for women nowadays, there's so much that we see that's really discouraging, especially if you're on social media, which I'm about to have a no social media summer, which I have a flip phone, and I'm about to make a video when I go home. Once I set up the phone, I'm going to make a video about flip phone summer and why I urge you to participate in flip phone summer. But yeah, so I think that there's a lot of things that we see on social media that kind of skews our perception on love, and skews our perception, and it makes us recognize, oh wow, or it makes the world seem like there's no good men, or there's no, for men, I'm sure they feel the same way. I'm sure they see a lot of lustful images of women where, you know, our bodies are out, and I'm not innocent. Like, I have bikini pictures, and I really grapple with myself because I had a conviction on modesty, and then I feel like I had kind of fallen back in some areas, and so I'm kind of like letting God rework on that area of my heart. But definitely this makes me think about it twice, because there's so much stuff out there. So I'm sure men could say the same thing about women, but I want to talk about the importance of waiting, because something I noticed in her relationship, and I'm not judging her, I'm just saying I noticed this, and we all have different beliefs, and this isn't necessarily a common belief to wait until marriage, but I think it is so important, and that conviction that God put on my heart, like the work that I did on this 2 years ago, like I'll talk about it a little bit deeper in a second, but it's shifted me, and I don't think I could go back. And so she's pregnant, but they're engaged, they're not married. And some people have different standards. Maybe they're like, I'm waiting until I just know that it's my person. I'm waiting until I'm engaged. But I really think waiting for the genuine union is crucial, because now they didn't wait, and you find out that this man has lust for other women. He's going and he's sleeping with other women while you're pregnant with this child. You're not even in union together. So the consequences for him are really none. You leave, that's it. But now he has your kid. So now you're still legally bound regardless to one another to some degree. And I feel like as women, we really need to protect ourselves from this because we are the gatekeepers. Our womb is our like portal. And it's super crucial for us to treat that with the respect that it deserves. Our bodies are not for everyone. And anybody who's had an ex, who's had a relationship, a situationship, whatever, where you've slept with somebody that you no longer are in contact with, that you no longer talk to, you no longer have a relationship with, it takes a toll on you. And you can say that it doesn't, but it does. And some women are now baby mamas. Some people got baby daddies. Some people are in these like lifelong, like have to interact to some degree and bring their children now into, and not everyone's strong enough. Like, I know she's a strong woman. This is not about her. This is not about her. This is just what prompted it. But there's a lot of people in this world who are not strong enough to break the cycles. And now your children are born into the cycle and they have to now go through it again. And this isn't, I'm not blaming the woman, but because men need to have the accountability to control their bodies. And I think this is a world where it abuses the way men are wired. We as women, we were not raised in a society that taught us like the sacredness of our body. And again, this is coming from somebody who, you go on my Instagram, I have bikini pictures. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm still very much modern. I still am new. I still have worked through so many different convictions and then fell back. And like, there's a lot. It's a whole different, like, it's a journey. It takes time. And as the convictions grow stronger in your heart, or as your different things become like made aware to you, you understand how to proceed moving forward. But I want to just speak about in the very like basic bottom line that we need to have as women is, and everyone's different, but I really would urge you to wait until marriage to sleep with somebody. I don't care if you love this man, you're like, this is my husband. I don't care if you put a ring on your finger, an engagement ring. Like, I really urge you to wait until you're at the altar in front of both your families, in front of your friends, in front of the people that you love, in the sanctity and the unity of marriage with God. Whether you believe in God or not, marriage was made for unity with God. There was always meant to be a third party in that. And if we break that third party's not there. He can't bless it. He's not blessing that. And we can all come up with all day our different theories about Jesus and God and what was asked of us, but it's all right here. And he made it very, very clear. And I really think that we open ourselves up to a lot of trouble, because once there's no sanctity, once there's no witness of something, of that union, what's holding it together? When you wait with somebody and then you can actually come to the altar and then perform an act of unity in front of you're not having sex in front of them, but you're being joined as one spirit in front of everybody that you love. It's a lot harder and more difficult, I think, consciously for someone to betray that, because there's a whole bunch of people rallying behind the both of you and basically holding you accountable. And then also just to have that moment together where you're like, dang, we both waited for this. And so many feelings can come from that, but like to have that moment where you're like, yeah, we both waited for this. And it's like, you can know that you are opening up something together. It doesn't feel like so empty or so fleeting or so just like, it's a different kind of passion, I could believe. And I don't know, I've not experienced yet, but I feel like it is just a different level of sacredness. And it's not saying that is like the solution and that people aren't going to just do what they want to do regardless, but we as women need to understand that we are bringing life into this world, and sex is an act to bring life into the world. Sex is an act to bring life. That's what it was made for. It wasn't just made for pleasure. It feels good, but the whole purpose of it is to bring life. So you're either creating an entity of like, if you don't bring physical life into this world, you're still bringing life into your relationship. You're still bringing life and worship to God. It's an act of worship. Like, there's so much beauty and richness in it. But when it becomes perpetuated by the spirit of lust and there's no wall or force of prayer in between it, protecting it, when there's no, when it's not blessed and protected, you're open to so many different attacks. And I think when it comes to lust, and the lust of men particularly, because the way they view sex is very different than the way women view sex, like that behavior needs a certain level of, I want to say, like, how's the way I want to say it? Like, it needs a certain level of, I want to say repercussion, but also like it needs to be guarded. Like, we need to guard ourselves from that. And then there needs to be repercussions. And a lot of times it happens. And then how is there any real repercussion if there's no sanctity of marriage? There's no financial repercussion. There's no emotional repercussion. There's no like legal repercussion. It's just like, oh, I did a bad thing, forgive me. Like, there's no real empathy in that. And in this day and age, the importance of us to like really learn our worth and value and really hold men to a high standard. It's not just for us. I'm not saying this to say like women are better than men. I'm not trying. We don't need the divisiveness. We don't need it. We don't need to sit here and hate on each other all day long. There's good people in this world with good intentions, and how we were wired is how we were wired for a reason. But there is a very real enemy in this world that wants to attack your self-esteem. It wants to attack your self-worth. It wants to make you feel lonely. It wants to make you feel hungry. It wants to make you feel unsatisfied with what you have. It's very real. And I think we need to be able to get to the point where we hold ourselves to a higher standard and we hold men to a higher standard. Because you can have physical needs, but I'm sorry, you need to figure out how to transmute that, because that is your life force. And you need to figure out how to say, I might feel this feeling. Figure out where it's coming from. Am I fantasizing about somebody? Am I just feeling like a physical thing? Because the more that you can take heat on it, I've been celibate for 2 years now, and I've broken the chains of like lustful thinking for a while now. And I'm not going to say that there's not moments, but like, it is not what it used to be. And I can honestly say that my life is so much better, and I have so much energy for my creative projects and for my hobbies. And I think it is so important for us as women to continue to learn how to transmute that energy. And men will have to take heed and do the same thing, because if us as women have higher standards and we say, I don't need this unless it's in the sanctity of marriage. I don't need this unless it is done with respect. I don't need a man unless he's able to do all of the things that I need him to do, to be a real man, to be a biblical man, to be a provider, to be generous, to be a leader, to be somebody who's in control of his body, somebody with self-control, somebody with the fruits of the Spirit. I don't need it if you don't have those things, because all you're gonna do is break me the same way that I spend too much time building myself up. And us as women, we think different. You need to love yourself first, and you need to have unbelievably high standards. I don't care what the world says. I don't care about this fake male loneliness epidemic. It's fake, first of all. I just got in an argument on Instagram, not even an argument, but like somebody tried to tell me that we're the reason, that because we have high standards, we're the reason there's a male loneliness epidemic. I said, no, we are holding men accountable for their actions by not wanting to date them anymore. It's not even like, we're not even purposely trying to hold them accountable. It's the fact that I'm saying, I don't want to be treated like this anymore. So I would much rather be by myself than be treated like this, point blank, period. And your body is not just somewhere to like pump and dump. Like, your body is sacred. So I don't want anybody near me looking at me, nothing. If they don't have good intentions in my life, I don't want that, let alone come anywhere near my body, anywhere near my sacred spaces. Like, I just don't want that. And I think that it's really important for us to like have these standards where we say, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I tolerate, I am going to receive loyalty, I will not settle for disloyalty. I'm saying, like, bring all of your what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, bring all of your requests, all of your needs to God, and know that He will meet them. But we have to work under God's conditions. We can't just get what we want and live under our own conditions. It's never going to be blessed by Him. And that's why I think something like this happened, where somebody who really did deserve a good person, I don't think the sanctity of God was in there, that protection of God. And that creates, I mean, thank goodness, right, that you can learn the truth early on in a relationship. But I will say, like, that sanctity is necessary. I don't care how much you love somebody, how attracted you are to them. Like, we need to keep it sacred. Otherwise, there's too much room for error. There's too much room for lust. There's too much room for the enemy to get in there and mess it all up. And moving forward as well, I say that like we have to have these high standards because men also need to be held to a higher standard. Life is too easy for them. That's why lust is rampant, because we're all out there on the internet. Porn is very real. OnlyFans is very real. Like, it's very easy. It is a disease in this nation. Like, the creators of porn straight up came out and said that they did it because they hate Jesus Christ. They said that. And so, and you can look it up. I truly believe that it was created to create a wedge between the perfect design of man and women. It's a perfect design, and there's so much attack on it because the unity of a strong man and woman rooted in faith is so powerful and creates ripples in this world and can do positive things for the kingdom. It's not just about quenching our loneliness or our thirst or our bodily needs. Like, it's not about that. It's about like genuinely creating something that can impact this world on a greater level, that can do something for the kingdom of God, that can bring kids into something safe, that can bring kids into break generational curses. So the things that we're not willing to face, the things that we're not willing to sit with, if I'm not willing to wait as long as I need to wait for what is right, if I'm not willing to use my discernment, if I'm not willing to trust dreams or my body intuitions, or if I'm with somebody and I feel sick, or if I'm with somebody and I'm anxious, or if I'm with somebody and I don't trust them, or I'm with somebody and I have a feeling they did something and they're not telling the truth, if I don't like something they do but I let it go because I love them, I'm not doing the work that I need to do to make this world a better place. I'm simply just acting on my own whim and doing things for my immediate pleasure. It's not fair. And we can all day long say, dang, this world is so messed up. This world is terrible. What are you doing to fix it? And I always tell people, I just said this to my sister yesterday. I was like, you cannot carry the burden of the world on your shoulders, but you can carry the burden of your world on your shoulders. And that is enough, because whatever God has given you to face, to walk through, to move through, like in your waiting period, in your seasons of like not having everything that you want, you need to be able to move through that with grace and say, I am breaking things, I am changing things, I am shifting things, and I'm ready and willing to wait for the perfect timing for whatever God has for me. And I want to ensure that it is blessed and in His will. I don't want to do it outside of His will because there's too much room for error. And it's not to say that people don't have good relationships or, I'm not saying that there's not exceptions, but what I am saying is that I think that as a society, we are being called higher, and we have to have the discernment and the wisdom to be able to see these signs and to be able to really like root ourselves in something real, and root ourselves in something that's scripturally aligned, and root ourselves and have the discernment to say, I'm sorry, I'm not settling for this half thing. I'm not settling for not all of what I deserve. Read the word, learn what you deserve, read Proverbs, like genuinely start to understand the way that you are seen in God's eyes as a woman, and genuinely like believe that and plant that root. Don't let society tell you who you are as a woman or what you deserve. And also don't let all these terrible stories discourage you or make you think that like men and women are meant to be divided, or that you have to like go out and become a lesbian or something. Like, that's not what it is. Like, you simply need to wait for God to align you to your powerful partner and your powerful counterpart so that you can do His work in this world. He will bless something that's from Him. He will make it so that you can go out into this world and create what He's asking, what He needs created. Like, He wants to perpetuate His goodness. He wants that. But these things that aren't good, that are rotten, that are bearing bad fruit, where men are, and it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake either. That he went and he said it was a mistake. It's not a mistake. It was, you went, you made a separate account, and I've been cheated on. I've had somebody give me things, like, and I had never had anything in my life, and the only person I was with for 4 years gave me something and then tried to say that they didn't, and then cried. So most of us have a story like this. You need to be able to know that that is not a mistake. Don't let anybody tell you, I made a mistake, I'll do better. It's not a mistake. You don't have self-control. You are not where you should be. You don't value what's in front of you. First of all, I mean, honestly, like, if we're not being sanctified, it's useless anyway. It really is useless, and we should really be trying to move out of that. We really need to be done with situationships and boyfriend-girlfriend thing. Like, it's really not real. It's all made up, and I would encourage you to read up on that, but it's fake. But Anyway, like, that's not a mistake. Those are conscious choices. Those are the fruits of whatever you're feeding in you, whatever you're watching. If he's watching porn, if he's liking other girls' pictures with booties on Instagram, get him off. He needs to be off Instagram too. Your man really needs to not be on Instagram. I'm just saying. Like, there's no reason for him to be on Instagram. That's one of my standards. I want a man with no Instagram. But like, you just genuinely need to know that that is not a mistake. That is a fruit of where he is. And so we need to hold men accountable by not having relationships with these men who are not fit to be in relationships, who are not who they say that they are, who are not as in control of themselves as they may seem. And you need to trust the red flags, and you need to trust the things that come up. And it's not to say that they're bad people. It's that spirits are working against the sanctity of marriage. Spirits are working against women to break their spirit, work against men to break their spirit, break their masculinity, make them feel useless. And they're not useless. We do, like, they have uses in this world. Like, they are useful, but they need to be healthy, and they need to be leaders, and they need to be led by God to be able to lead us. They can't lead us if they're not led by God. And I can't be the spiritual leader. I can't be the one who's more aligned than you are. And there's always going to be a misalignment if you're not in the same place at the same time, if you're not rooted in the same thing. So that they need to be left to go build a relationship with God. They do not need relationships with women. They do not need relationships with you. They do not need side pieces. They do not need to be finding another girlfriend or another fiance or whatever. They don't need that. They need time alone with the Lord to get sanctified, to learn what it is that they are called to do, to learn who they are and how they are seen, to rediscover that. And we as women need to have higher standards so that they feel needed as men, so that they are needed, so that they can do what they were called to do. The same way that then we're able to feel safe, and we can rest, and we can be calm, and we don't have to worry if our man is being loyal or not, because we can know that he's led by the, like, I want to know that he's led by the Holy Spirit. And that's not to say things don't happen, but I don't want to perpetuate that fear in your life that, like, every man is a cheater. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's not even like human nature. You want to say it's human nature, but it's like, it's a spirit. Because yes, to be sexually, like, to be sexual, it's not a sin. It's a sin when it's out of place and when it's immoral, or when it comes at the expense of somebody you love. But when you love somebody and you have each other, that is your safe, like, that's your space together. It's not meant to go out of that. It's not meant to pour out of that. That energy is not meant to go to left, right, Harry and Sally and online into all these OnlyFans girls. Like, it's the biggest killer. You see how much money girls make on OnlyFans? I don't know if I ever told y'all my story, but there will be a time for it. I don't think it's now, but man, I have a past. And if any of y'all know me, like, I've come a long way, and my mind has changed so much. And I can honestly say, I realized this the other day, because I kind of came to a point and I was like, God, like, I've been by myself for a while. Like, I've been single for 2 years. I've not even, like, looked at another man in 2 years. Like, there's not been anybody that has touched my spirit in 2 years. And, you know, I have a lot of people in my life getting married and in beautiful relationships who I saw struggle for years. And it always gives me hope of, like, you need to wait for the right person. Like, you just need to wait. And I will honestly say, like, in those periods though, like, I have grown tremendously. And I just said this to my friend the other day. I was like, but would you have, now she's in a good relationship, and I was like, but would you have not changed anything that you went through, because it made you who you are? And, like, me now, this time, like, I know God has so much refining to do in me, and some growth you can only have in a relationship, but I know, like, I need to mature in my relationship with God. I know that I need to mature in my relationship with myself. I need to mature in where my energy goes. I know that I need to mature in, like, how I spend my time, how I use my creative energy, how my finances are. Like, can I listen to myself? Am I listening to my intuition? Like, am I listening to the Lord? Like, am I being obedient? And until I can genuinely produce the fruits that I'm supposed to be producing, I am not really in a rush to be with somebody. And until the right person brings me an offer that I'm willing to accept, that has, and this is not to say that people are perfect, because I'm far from perfect, but until it meets what I know that I need, until it comes with the safety that I know that I need, until it comes with the loyalty that I know that I need, until it comes with the sanctity of marriage, until it comes with no questions, no doubts, until it comes with a firm yes from the Lord, until it comes from like, just until I know that it's right, there's no need for me to touch it. There's no need for me to date. There's no need for me to sleep around. There's no need for me to go backwards. There's no need for me to do anything but focus on me. And even friendships sometimes are a distraction. Like, there's nothing necessary right now other than for me to be pruned and to grow in the waiting. And so it was a really good revelation the other day too that I had, where it was like, you can't go under, you can't go over, you got to go through. And last year, because there's so many times where we get impatient and then we start manipulating, or I start manifesting, or I start like trying to will things into existence, or I try to make something happen on my own will. And it's like, it's not time, because this whole last year, I've said it, I tried so many times to make things happen and it just wasn't the time for them to happen. It just simply wasn't time. And when things are right and the moment is there, it's just natural and it moves. And I think right now with the state of the world, you have to think, first of all, we got a lot of people in this world. And there is people, you know how much we all went through? We all went through something. Like, you could talk to anybody and somebody probably went through something equally as horrible as you, or worse, or whatever, but we've all been through a lot of stuff. And I will honestly say that we've been through so much because we were born through brokenness. And in order for there to be more wholeness, we need to birth children through wholeness. So if you're going to be sleeping with people, if you want to get married, if you want to have kids, if you want to like, even if you don't plan on having kids, whoever you are with is going to determine what is produced in this world, because two are more powerful than one. So when God gives you your person, it's like you two are meant to produce something good for the world. You are meant to produce something good for the kingdom. It's not just for you. It's for the both of you, and it is for the world through you. So like, I don't want to bring children in this world who are born through my own inability to face what I need to face, my own ability to set boundaries, my own ability to say no to what I don't want, out of desperation, out of loneliness, out of laziness, out of lust. I don't want that. So anyway, I think that's really all I got. I just, I've wanted to touch on this for a while. I don't know if I've made a video about this yet, but there's more I could say about it. And this was very impromptu. So hopefully it was concise and my point was made. But I just really want to like urge us, like the women in my life who I've watched, I can tell you it was not any woman that I know that told me to wait till marriage. It was women that I watched on the internet. It was women that I started like being coached by and learning and respecting, who had strong relationships with God. Women who, it didn't even start with the word, honestly. It genuinely started from me watching other women of God, and women who like just knew themselves and respected themselves and said, I will not settle for anything less. And I want to hold myself to a high standard. I want to hold like my brothers and sisters to a higher standard. I want to hold everyone to a higher standard and urge you to like know what you're worthy of. And you're not worthy because of what you do. You're not worthy because of what you look like. You're not worthy because what you wear. You're not worthy because of your actions. Nothing you do makes you worthy except for the work done on the cross, and except for the fact that God loves you exactly how you are, because that's how you were made. And you need to start seeing yourself in the image that God has made you in, and start to understand that He made you that way. He made that guy that way. He made all of us that way. And we need to hold each other to that standard and say, you deserve this. But the only way for you to get that thing, it's not through conditions, but it's through a renewal of your mind and a genuine understanding of the power of union, and a genuine understanding of your purpose on this world, and through a genuine relationship with God, and learning what He's asking of you, and learning like bit by bit. So I really would say that like that shift for me, and learning my worthiness, and still working on it every single day, but knowing on a deep core level, like the way I used to behave, the way I used to treat sex, the relationships that I was in, like the things, the wounds in me went so deep. And it's daily work for me. But I can honestly say there was just a moment where I prayed on it and I asked God to clean house, and when he did, I had major revelation about the impact of sexual like immorality and promiscuity, and just the way that it all impacted my life. And from that moment, I genuinely never viewed it the same way again. And he like really opened my eyes to the way that I had been treating myself in my body, and the relationships that I was in, and why they felt empty. And it all makes sense now. And why I was constantly hungry for something and never satiated. Like, I don't want that for you. I don't want that for us. Like, I want us to start building a world that is better. I want us to start coming into union and bringing children into this world who are going to be the world changers, because the world might seem like it's ending, but it's the darkness that's ending, and the light is being born. The light will prevail. God has already won. So don't let all of this darkness distract you from the fact that we already won the battle, and just start being on the winning side, and just start doing the things that you're called to do. So that way you don't have to go in this world and experience what, you know, poor Liz experiencing right now, and like where she's pregnant with somebody's baby. They're not married. There's no legal protection involved in that. And now you have to deal with each other for the rest of your child's life. Like, that is not something I want for anybody. And it's not saying that that is an irreparable situation. It's the fact that we need to rise above these situations. And this does not need to be a perpetual state in life. Like, this does not need to be a perpetual thing that keeps happening. Like, we have the ability and the discernment, especially as women. We need to heighten our intuition. We need to spend time with the Lord, and we need to have a ring on a finger and a marriage in front of people before that happens. I genuinely believe that. And I just think you need to really be in a safe, right relationship, and you need to trust your intuition. And like, intuitively looking at that man, I could tell something was not right. I could tell he was not on par with her. I could tell they were not on the same level. And there's a lot of relationships I've been in where I look back and I'm like, we were not on the same level, but I saw so much goodness, right? And they're not bad people, but they need to work on themselves, and they need to spend time with themselves, and they need to spend time with God, and they need to become the leaders that they're being asked to become, or they will be cut off and their lineage will not prevail. That's another thing. This is about your lineage. So what we bring into this world is an extension of us, and we can either choose to bring more chaos into the world, or we can choose to raise good children with strong tradition, with strong values, with strong morality, with faith, with just the knowledge. Like, every generation is born to continue to evolve. Sorry, I'm on a tangent, but every generation is born to evolve consciousness, born to evolve the way that we were meant to evolve. But there's a lot of rampant darkness. But again, I shall remind you, God has already won, and we really are called higher. So we need to call ourselves higher. And don't believe that stupid male loneliness epidemic. Like, you're going to be lonely until you work on yourself. How lonely do you think women are? We all have, do you know how many of us have been celibate for years? We've been celibate, not on dates, nothing. Like, there's been nothing but my career, my hobbies, my word, books, like spending time in nature. Like, that's it. Like, that is my life. My friends, that's it. My family. And you think I don't have moments where I'm lonely? All the freaking time. But I know how to transmute that time. Men are lonely because they don't know how to transmute their free time without doing something destructive, or doing something like they're being just led by their body. So they need to learn and be trained on how to spend their alone time. So that to me is ridiculous. That comment that I got, I thought was so stupid. So it really pissed me off, because I was like, are y'all seriously fighting with me about this? Like, I can't. It was probably a bot, but like, I really would encourage you to not fall for that, and to say that if they're lonely, they should be lonely, and they probably have some growing to do, because God is not going to leave us by ourselves. We're better as two. We're better in union. He's going to leave us where we're best, where he can use us the most. And if he has no purpose for them, and they're alone, and they're not in a relationship, and they're not sleeping with somebody, it's probably a good thing, and they're probably getting some inner work done. And we need some of that, because the women are out here doing all this healing, doing all the deep spiritual work. We cannot be the only ones doing the spiritual work, especially when men are supposed to be the spiritual leaders. So anyway, those are my thoughts on what I just saw. Really impromptu, but yeah, I mean, listen, y'all, that's all I got for you. But I love you guys, and I will talk to y'all the next time I have something to say. I'm gonna make my flip phone video in a couple days. But yeah, love you guys. Ta-ta.